leader in Myanmar. Trent Franks is the chairman of the Bipartisan Congressional Missile Defense Caucus. He's a Republican out of Arizona. Sir, and good morning to you out there in Phoenix. A couple scenarios here. What happens if we board?
Well, you know, there are risks associated with that bill, but I think the risks of not boarding are even greater. I think Senator McCain is correct that if we have hard evidence that there are potentially nuclear missiles or materials aboard that ship, then we should board it, because these are critical days. You know, nuclear proliferation is like a virus. If it gets too far out there, it can just proliferate all over the world, and it's critically important that we do what's right now, because if we don't, we could be facing even greater challenges in the future.
Part of this is based on this recent UN resolution that didn't say you had to board it, but they just suggested it. But it wasn't enforcement that was delivered out of the United Nations here in New York. But why are we so suspicious of this particular ship, sir?
Well, you know, I think perhaps we might be getting into some sensitive areas there, but the reality is that the UN has made it clear that carrying fissile materials or nuclear materials that could potentially be weaponized aboard a ship like this it breaks the UN resolutions, and North Korea has made it clear to the world that they're going to defy the whole planet and become a fully armed, nuclear-armed nation. And that should give pause to all of us. In fact, you know, Bill, I would go one step further. I believe that if North Korea launches an ICBM that is on an azimuth of any kind that is potentially threatening to the homeland of the United States, that we should use our GMD system to knock it down.
GMV?
Because that GMD, our ground-based mid-course defense system,
which has been deployed to the state of Hawaii already. I mean, there's a possibility we could knock it down if they go ahead with the launch. You're talking about THAAD. THAAD has been there a long time. The administration, I don't understand quite the rhetoric when they talk about beefing up THAAD and Aegis. Neither one of those systems have been tested and proven against ICBMs, whereas our GMD system that is on shore in the United States has been tested against those ICBMs, and it is the only system capable of defending our homeland against ICBMs that's been proven and tested to do that. And yet this administration has put in the budget a 35% decrease in that budget amidst an obvious increase in the missile threat against the United States and the world. And so it's just something that is a priority mismatch that I can't possibly fathom. Make it clear for me, what would you like the U.S. government to do, sir?
Well, I think that the U.S. government has to make it clear to both Iran and to North Korea that we cannot abide them becoming nuclear-armed nations capable of threatening the world. And if that means shooting down missiles that are being tested to demonstrate that technology to the world and put those countries in a position selling that technology to other nations, then we need to do that. We need to do everything necessary to prevent that from occurring, because if these countries continue in the way that they are, terrorists will eventually lay hold on these types of weapons. And this generation, and certainly future generations, will face nuclear terrorism, and they will always look back and wonder why we didn't do what we could when we could. I'm amazed that we don't realize that there was a time when North Korea was not nuclear armed, and we simply, the Clinton administration paid the ransom but did not secure the hostage. That was one of the years that they vetoed the missile defense capability that we were trying to put forward. And now we're paying the price for our lack of insight then, and the problem is even greater now than it was before.
Yeah, we reported this on Friday. There's thought in a lot of corners that on the 4th of July, the North Koreans may launch a barrage of missiles in the direction of Japan or even Hawaii or Alaska. But there's a possibility now that one of those missiles, even if it's successful, could be knocked out of the sky. And if that happens, you watch when the president goes to Russia and talks about this missile defense system, how much more force you'll have behind the argument. Sir, thank you for your time. Trent Franks, my guest now out of Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for coming on today. Megan?
Well, we are following